There are moments in life when the heart feels heavy for no clear reason. You wake up tired not because your body lacks rest, but because your soul feels overwhelmed. You smile in front of people, yet inside there is a quiet struggle that no one seems to notice. And in those moments, many people begin to question themselves. They ask, why do I feel this way? Is something wrong with my faith? Or why does my heart feel distant even though I believe? Understand this clearly. Feeling sadness, anxiety, or emotional exhaustion does not make you distant from Allah. It makes you human. The Qur'an was not revealed only for people who feel strong all the time. It was revealed for hearts that break, minds that feel lost, and souls that need reassurance. Allah, the one who created the heart, knows exactly how fragile it can become. The beauty of the Qur'an is that it does not rush you. It does not shout at you to be better. It sits with you in your pain. It reminds you that you are seen, that your tears are counted, and that your struggle has meaning even when you cannot see it. Again and again, Allah speaks about hearts finding rest, not through escape, but through remembrance. Not by denying pain, but by understanding it. When depression makes you feel alone, the Qur'an reminds you that you were never abandoned. When your thoughts feel noisy and overwhelming, the Qur'an brings clarity, not always by changing your situation, but by strengthening your inner ground. It teaches you that peace is not the absence of hardship. Peace is knowing that Allah is present within it. Tonight, if your heart feels tired, do not feel ashamed to turn to the Qur'an slowly. Even one verse, even one moment of reflection. Because sometimes peace does not arrive like a sudden miracle. Sometimes it begins quietly, with Allah reminding you, I am closer than you think. Depression is often misunderstood as a failure of faith, when in reality it is part of the human condition that Allah Himself acknowledges. Human beings were created with emotions, vulnerability, and fluctuation. The heart was never designed to remain strong at all times. Even the most righteous people experienced deep sadness, fear, and emotional weight. Feeling low, empty, or overwhelmed does not mean Iman has disappeared. It means the heart is reacting to pressure, loss, exhaustion, or prolonged struggle. Islam never teaches that belief eliminates emotional pain. Instead, it teaches how to navigate pain without losing direction. The Qur'an repeatedly speaks to believers who feel afraid, who grieve, who feel burdened. If emotional struggle were a sign of weak faith, Allah would not address it with such compassion. Depression becomes dangerous not because of faith, but because people are made to feel guilty for something they did not choose. That guilt adds another layer of pain, pushing people further into isolation. From a psychological perspective, depression affects motivation, energy, focus, and hope. From a spiritual perspective, it tests patience, trust, and reliance. These two realities do not cancel each other. They coexist. Islam does not deny the mind's complexity, nor does it reduce mental suffering to a spiritual flaw. Instead, it restores dignity to the person by separating their worth from their emotional state. When someone believes their sadness makes them distant from Allah, they often stop turning to Him. That is the real loss. Understanding that depression is a human experience removes shame and opens the door to healing. It allows a person to seek help, make dua, reflect on the Qur'an, and take practical steps without feeling spiritually defective. Faith is not proven by never falling. It is revealed in how one turns back, even while feeling broken, tired, and unsure. Trusting that Allah understands the heart better than the heart understands itself. The Qur'an does not approach the human being as a machine that needs commands first. It approaches the heart that needs to be understood. Before Allah instructs behavior, He addresses emotion, fear, hope, and inner conflict. This is why the Qur'an resonates so deeply with people who are struggling internally. It speaks to what is happening beneath the surface, to the silent conversations people have with themselves when no one else is listening. In moments of depression, the heart does not need pressure or correction. It needs reassurance, meaning, and connection, and this is exactly where the Qur'an begins. When a person is emotionally exhausted, their ability to act is limited. Islam recognizes this reality. The Qur'an does not demand strength from a heart that is wounded. It gives it space to breathe. It reminds the believer that Allah is aware of what is hidden in the chest, aware of the thoughts that cannot be articulated, aware of the pain that words fail to describe. This acknowledgement alone creates relief, because being understood reduces emotional weight. The verses of the Qur'an often start by drawing attention to Allah's mercy, knowledge, and closeness. This is intentional. Before telling the believer what to do, Allah tells them who He is. He establishes trust before responsibility. For someone experiencing depression, this order is crucial. Without emotional safety, commands feel heavy. With emotional reassurance, guidance feels supportive. Psychologically, people change not when they are shamed, but when they feel safe enough to grow. The Quran aligns with this truth. It softens the heart so that action becomes possible later. It does not rush healing or force immediate transformation. It gently realigns perspective, helping the heart see beyond the pain without denying it. This is why even a single verse can bring calm to a restless mind, because it does not demand movement, it offers presence, and from that presence, strength slowly returns. One of the most powerful aspects of Islam is that Allah never dismisses emotional pain or treats it as insignificant. The Quran openly acknowledges fear, grief, loneliness, and inner distress as real experiences of the human heart. Allah speaks to people who feel overwhelmed, broken, and uncertain, not to invalidate their emotions, but to affirm that He is fully aware of them. This acknowledgement itself is a form of mercy, because pain becomes heavier when it is ignored or minimized. Allah does not ask the suffering heart to pretend everything is fine. He does not shame people for feeling weak or struggling internally. Instead, He reassures them that their state is seen and understood. When Allah describes Himself as all-knowing of what is within the hearts, it is a reminder that emotional pain is not invisible to Him, even when it is hidden from the world. This recognition removes the isolation that often accompanies depression, where a person feels unseen and misunderstood. Islam also teaches that emotional hardship is not random or meaningless. While Allah does not cause pain out of cruelty, He allows difficulty as part of a greater wisdom that humans may not immediately comprehend. This does not trivialize suffering, it gives it context. Knowing that Allah is aware of the pain and allows it with purpose helps the heart endure without feeling abandoned. From a psychological standpoint, validation is a key step in healing. Islam provides that validation through divine acknowledgement. The Quran does not rush people out of grief or demand instant gratitude. It gives space for sorrow while gently redirecting the heart toward hope. Allah's mercy is not conditional on emotional strength. It is present even at a person's weakest point. When someone realizes that Allah acknowledges their pain without judgment, their relationship with Him transforms. They stop hiding their emotions and begin turning to Him honestly. That honesty deepens trust, and trust softens the weight of suffering, because the heart no longer feels alone in its struggle. Knowing it is held within divine awareness and care, peace in Islam is not presented as an instant feeling or a reward for ignoring life's challenges. It is a state that begins with understanding the heart and its needs. The Quran does not demand that a person push aside their pain or pretend it does not exist. Instead, it guides the believer to recognize, reflect, and accept the emotions that arise within them. This approach is deeply compassionate because it meets the human being where they are, acknowledging that the journey toward peace begins with awareness, not pressure. Many people in moments of depression try to force themselves to feel better quickly, expecting relief to come immediately through effort alone. Islam, however, recognizes that the heart is complex and emotional healing cannot be rushed. The Quran offers gentle reminders, stories, and lessons that slowly reshape perception and understanding. By reflecting on these messages, a person begins to see their struggles within a broader perspective, realizing that difficulties are temporary, purposeful, and navigable with patience and reliance on understanding the self is a central step toward true peace. Islam encourages the believer to observe their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors without harsh judgment. It teaches that emotional responses are natural and that seeking Allah's guidance through due guidance, remembrance, and reflection allows the heart to gradually release tension. This process builds resilience because it does not rely solely on external circumstances, but strengthens the inner foundation of faith and hope. Psychologically, peace arises when a person feels safe and understood rather than pressured or shamed. Islam aligns with this principle by first validating emotions and then offering guidance that is practical, spiritual, and compassionate. The Quran provides both reassurance and a roadmap, helping the believer navigate emotional storms with a balance of self-awareness, patience, and trust. Over time, this approach cultivates a stable sense of inner calm, one that is rooted not in denial of pain, but in understanding and accepting the natural rhythms of the human heart while maintaining a close connection with Allah. When depression and mental stress weigh heavily on the heart, the Quran becomes a companion before it becomes a guide. Many people feel isolated in their struggles, believing that no one, not even Allah, truly understands the depth of their pain. Yet the Quran is revealed precisely for such moments, speaking directly to hearts that are burdened, minds that are restless, and souls that feel disconnected. Its words do not demand immediate action or judgment. They offer presence, reassurance, and a gentle reminder that the believer is never truly alone. Companionship in Islam begins with awareness of. The Quran repeatedly affirms that Allah is closer to the individual than their jugular vein, fully aware of what is hidden and what is expressed. This knowledge alone brings comfort because it assures the heart that its struggle is acknowledged without shame or condemnation. Emotional pain is not dismissed as weakness or disbelief. It is seen as part of the human condition, something that can be shared with Allah through sincere reflection, prayer, and remembrance. The Quran's companionship is also active. Through stories, parables, and repeated reminders of mercy and hope, it mirrors the experience of the believer, showing that others have faced trials, endured uncertainty, and emerged stronger. This reflection creates a sense of solidarity that combats isolation. Even when a person cannot find words for their feelings, the Quran provides language for the heart, articulating despair, hope, fear, and longing in a way that validates experience. By sitting with the heart first, before instructing behavior or prescribing solutions, the Quran creates the emotional space necessary for true healing. The believer begins to feel understood, accepted, and supported in their journey. From this place of companionship, guidance naturally follows. Actions, patience, and growth become possible, not because they are imposed, but because the heart has been comforted and strengthened through recognition, care, and the presence of Allah's words. If this message touched your heart, take a moment to reflect on it. Share it with someone who may be struggling in silence, and stay connected for more reminders that bring peace, hope, and strength through faith.